by Josh Koroma.
Flips this one in. Goes to the far post. Naviyama with the goal.
Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. We are back for another live stream. I know I said I was doing this on Monday, but decided, obviously it was Bank Holiday Monday, so I thought, you know what, let's come on here on Tuesday evening to discuss our season if we really have to, if we really have to. We don't want to do it, but we're going to have a look at the season and obviously share my thoughts on it as well. You've probably heard me loads of times talking about this, but we're going to do it, and then we're going to obviously look at the players, who we'll keep, who we'll sell. Doesn't look like we've got much of a kind of a choice in who we should keep, really, because if we look at the players in contract, we've got so many players in contract, only a few that are out of contract, so it's just a complete mess when we need to get rid of a few. It's not going to be as easy as maybe what we would have liked it to be, really. But anyway, it is what it is. We're going to get into it very soon. But yeah, let's say a few of those in the chat. Ian says, hi mate, hope you're okay. Yeah, big up to you, Aidan. I'm all right, thank you. Hope you're all right too. But yeah, before we start, like I say, if you are on the YouTube channel, make sure you drop a like and subscribe if you're new. We are progressing very nicely with the subscriptions now, obviously nearly at 450, so let's see if we can get, and obviously we are live on X as well, so I appreciate everybody that is tuning in over there too. But yeah, I mean, look, the season, let's just get into it then. The season, just utter chaos from the start to the very end. Chaos. I think I've mentioned this numerous times that, to be honest with you, when we had, this time last year, there was real feel-good factor, wasn't there? Obviously, we just made the greatest of escapes under Warnock, and they were. From that moment, I felt like we could really push on now and really just not get ourselves in a position that we were in, and the fact that we've not learned from our lessons again this season, and just the same old, really, isn't it? And I just think it's so disappointing. Like the transfer market, we knew we needed to sign a good few quality, some good players that can really help us. And like I said, we need a new striker. I would say we needed someone that could create as well in that midfield. But again, what do we go and do? We sign utter rubbish, don't we? We sign utter rubbish and expect miracle results, and it's just not going to work. If you look at the transfer business, last summer, we did get Maxwell, who, to be fair, he's not done so badly. Obviously a free agent from Blackpool. Ben Wiles, there was all this talk about we didn't have any money to spend, right? But yeah, we went and blew £1 million on Ben Wiles. In all due respect, he'd obviously had a serious injury at Rotherham. He wasn't going to be anywhere near the pace to be able to help us. So for me, Ben Wiles, it's been a complete and utter waste of money to me. Ben Wiles, I don't know why we thought he was going to work. Okay, the summer, getting fit, getting on the pre-season, will he be able to come good for us? Probably League One, probably so. He's done well at League One previously, but I'm on about this season. He was nowhere near going to be ready to, to come in and make an impact. And it's just rubbish. Loans, we got in Tom Edwards. Don't get me started on Tom Edwards, by the way. I just beggars belief that we went in for somebody that was as poor as he was. He was never going to improve us. Again, a horrible signing, even if it was a loan. Tom Edwards, absolute garbage. I'm sorry, but that is just it's just madness. And Bergzorg, of course, who, like I say, I've not made no mistake. I've not been his biggest fan. He's shown his true colours in the end. with his attitude and body language. Just wasn't interested from the get-go, really, was he? Yes, he scored some goals, but you look at his overall play, he was absolutely shocking. So I'm sorry, but the summer window, we needed to get some players in, and we failed. It was a disaster. So yeah. Anyway, we're gonna get to the comments whilst we just take a break from what I'm saying here. Chris says, I'm really glad the off season is now here, not just because of football, but because of the proportion of me people in the fan base. Of course, the season ticket will be renewed, but I might miss the odd home match. Yeah, I mean, look, it's it can be quite toxic on social media. You know, as soon as you put yourself out there and give an opinion, you know, people don't agree with, they start going off on one, and you can't seem to have an opinion without being called negative, stop complaining, you're not a fan, go and support somebody else. It's crazy, and I think you'll always have those people on social media, to be honest with you. So, look, it is what it is. But yeah, I'm glad that the season's over as well, don't you? Yeah, we're glad the off-season's in now. Blue Terry says, the summer recruitment was what killed us. I would argue the January was okay, but not amazing. Warnock said in Cornwall they wanted 2 or 3, but I think we needed way more. Yeah, Blue Terry, you're right. I think, look, the summer is the best time to get your business done. You know, January is always a difficult month to get people in, but the summer, it really just did set the tone, didn't it? And all this rubbish about we couldn't spend and all this. Well, we shouldn't have gone and blown £1 million on Ben Wiles, who he's not contributed at all this season. He just hasn't. He's been very, very poor. I think we maybe did need a few more, but I think if we would have just got 2 or 3 good players in, yes, okay, we may need more, but at least we would have been better than going and getting Wiles, going and getting Edwards. You know, waste of time. Bergzorg, yes, he's chipped in a few goals, but overall contributions absolutely shocking. So yeah, I get what you're saying. We didn't sign enough players, which led for Warnock leaving, and that was a mistake, I think, when Warnock left. I knew he was going to be in trouble from them. Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, we're going to get into it. Now, the pre-season, now, I've said this before, right? And I think that I've kind of said this about pre-season. I don't understand the context of going down there and playing, you know, pub teams, is what I call them, very, very low quality teams. I think that's something that I didn't agree with, that Warnock did. Okay, that's his set way, and that's what he's always done, but I don't know. I just think really you need maybe 2 or 3, 1 or 2 at least, that are really testy. You know, you're not going to, and we decided to play these teams that just didn't test it at all, to be honest with you. Hello, Luckman, how are you? Big up. Hello there. And yeah, you're a Tottenham fan, so welcome on in. Yeah, we did get relegated, unfortunately. It's been a horrible season. It's been a horrible season for us, yeah. We got relegated to the 3rd tier, League One. If we had signed Reece Healy in the summer, we might have stayed up. Yeah, I mean, Reece Healy, what a find he was. You know, he's been a great player for us, but yeah, we're always behind. We've been behind. You know, signing someone like Reece Healy, he should have been made in the summer, but again, just no leadership, no organisation. It's just, like I said, this club is just being run like a circus. You know, that's what it is. But anyway, the season start, I think it wasn't the best start of the season, was it really? You know, obviously, in August, we really struggled for form. Lost 4 games, we drew 1. But then obviously we started to pick some points up there, and we got back-to-back wins at the start of September against West Brom and Rotherham. So you thought, ooh, turn the corner here. Let's try and, you know, get on a bit of a run. And this is where this decision came completely out of the blue, of course, and arguably the most biggest misjudgment, you know, biggest mistake, whatever you want to call it. You know, Warnock obviously announced in his press conference that he'll be leaving after the Stoke game on the Wednesday. like I said, this decision. I know, I keep going on about it, but I'm just being honest. This decision is ultimately the one that's, okay. The managers that came in, obviously, we'll go into that, but this decision alone, first and foremost, is what has cost us the most. I think that, look, even if he wouldn't have stayed for the full season, maybe he would have got to January. I think we would have stayed up if we would have done that. But ultimately, the timing of this decision was very poor. It didn't make any sense. I think it was just completely unnecessary to get rid of him. I think, and like I said, I think we would have stayed up if we would have had enough points to survive. If we would have kept him, okay, maybe not for the full season like it was meant to be, but even if it was until January, like I said, it would have been enough for me. I think really the way the situation we want was handled was very poor, wasn't it? It was embarrassing, really. It was embarrassing. Warnock, obviously, if you're going to bring Warnock here, you're going to bring Warnock back. He has to stay longer than 7 games. He has to. He has his own ways in pre-season. But then you're asking another manager to come in, and you can't. When you commit to Warnock, you have to commit to him for a longer period of time. You can't get rid of somebody like that just because he's come out and said things that he has. I just think it was just a shocking decision, as we know. But yeah, I don't know anymore. What are your chances of getting back up and are you confident? Well, right now I'm not confident at all. I'm not confident at all. League One's a tough league. We're nowhere near ready. There's so much to do. So no, I'm not confident we're going to go back up. But let's see how the summer progresses. I guess let's see what happens. But it's going to be a tough summer to get everything. We've so much to do, and they have to get it right. They have to get it right this time, because otherwise, we're going to be facing another miserable season, and we don't want to be one of those teams that go back-to-back relegations. You know how it happens. Teams that go down, it can steamroll into another relegation, and we can't afford to do that. So yeah, we'll see. Blue Terry says, I believe we wanted him in the summer. Why didn't if I answered, I would be guessing. I don't know what you mean. I believe he wanted him in the summer. Why he didn't? I don't. If I answered, I would be guessing. I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not sure. I don't know why we didn't get him in the summer. Hello, Wayne. Good evening. How are you? Thank you for tuning in. Blue Terry says, in my opinion, Warnock needs to go before January, but we made it too early. Him staying in January, I believe, would have made it hard to sign players, knowing Neil will be going soon. Yeah, I mean, look, we should have kept him a bit longer at least. And I just can't get my head around it. I think it was a shocking decision, really. And look, we know how the season escalated. And, I think one thing that Warnock did do, and yes, it might not be in the best football, but what Warnock did do is he got the players playing for him. That's what, he's seen it, done it. He's won a T-shirt. He doesn't have the success that he's had in his career without having something about it. So, yeah, we know how good Warnock was. So, yeah, he's one of those. It's just a joke. What annoys me the most is when Warnock said I would have stayed for the whole season. Yeah, he was quite happy, wasn't he, to stay for the whole season. I think if you commit to somebody, like you say, we wanted stability. We wanted stability this season. We just wanted to stay up. We didn't expect anything. We didn't expect to go up. We didn't expect to be in the promotion picture, of course. We just wanted a season of stability, and a season where we weren't fighting relegation, but we were just comfortable. But to make a decision like that, and it's completely backfired on the people at the top that have made that decision, and yeah, ultimately played a massive part in us going down. So yeah, we knew he would be happy to stay, but Sorry, I'm late. Forgot to tune in. No worries, Wayne. No worries. But yeah, then the situation escalated afterwards, as we know. Darren Moore was then appointed from a position of strength, apparently, which honestly, it beggars belief what planet Mark Cartwright, Jake Edwards are on. I just think it's just a shambles, isn't it? I think it's just utter madness. You know, for me, when he came in, I thought, look, this is just a shocking appointment. You know, and I'm not saying I told you so now, by the way, because obviously it worked out the way it did. But when he came in, I don't think anybody was excited by the appointment. You know, it was probably one of the most dull, uninspiring, underwhelming appointments that I've known. As we know, I think his approach to games was shocking. You know, I didn't find him, you know, very charismatic when he was speaking. I just think he was completely and utterly out of his depth. Now, if you go on as well, time went on. You know, listening to the press conference, I know people forget, but the press conference as well. You know, it was just so boring. You know, he just didn't have any. He just said the same things time and time again. Personality-wise, it didn't click with the fans. It never did. I think as fans of the club, I think we kind of respond to certain personalities as Town fans, I think. And, you know, you want a manager to be fired up, don't you? You want a manager to have something about them, you know. And if you listen to the press conference, like I said, you know, it did quite honestly. I could have fallen asleep listening to him. You know, I could have fallen asleep. He just didn't say anything. It was just monotone waffle. It was just utter waffle every time, and some of his teams as well. By the way, towards the beginning, that Birmingham away team and performance, you know, it was almost as if it was like a pre-season to him. Because I mean, come on, you know, experimenting, you know, with players in weird positions like it was pre-season. So you do that in pre-season. You haven't got to, you know, you don't experiment with other players in different positions at this time of season. I just think it was utterly chaotic. Like I said, throwing points away every single game, draw after draw. It was so boring. It was ridiculous how many draws we got by the end of this season, partly because of him. And I think it's safe to say everybody wanted him gone, you know, way before the club decided to get rid of him. But like I said, we approached the January transfer window. Remember, them three winnable games against Plymouth, Blackburn and QPR. And I said, I think he should have gone before these games, by the way. But no, the club stuck with him into the new transfer window. And by the time we'd got rid of him, it felt like too little too late for me. Because, you know, like I said, we dropped points against all those sides, by the way, that I just previously mentioned, 1-1s. You know, from start to finish, from when he came in to when he left, there were no signs that he was actually going to work. You know, there was no improvements. You know, there were no positive signs of that cohesion that you need. You know that gelling on the pitch, the ideas. I don't understand. It was just nowhere. And you know, if you ask me what the identity was, what we was trying to do, I have no idea. It was absolutely awful. It was boring, negative football. His football was about not conceding rather than trying to go for it and win games, rather than trying to score goals. It was about not conceding. Yeah, horrible approach. And I think despite all this, Nagel kept saying he's our man, and obviously he flew up to England for that Blackburn game. And he was so adamant that Moore was his man still. But then, if you remember, all of a sudden, he turned into, all of a sudden turned, the tone changed. You know, I think for me, if you remember that interview we did on Radio Leeds with Oggy, and he was asked about, kind of, obviously there were a lot of pressure on Darren Moore at this point, and he was asked about what might happen next and everything, and I just think he changed his tune, and he said that he was the right man for now. So he changed his tune so quickly. He was so adamant weeks before that he was his man, and he changed his tune. And I just think, really, and it just changed the way he was speaking. After all that, another reason why I think this past year has been an absolute circus. We drew 1-1 against Blackburn, as I said, and Nagel comes out tweeting he expects to win. He put all this pressure on the manager then, and said, all along the lines, if we didn't win the following weekend where we were playing QPR, we had to do something we'll have to do something about it, and questions would be asked. But I go back to it. It was such a change in tune from everything he'd said beforehand. And again, you've got your owner there publicly talking about how he needs to win on Sunday, or else the position of the manager is going to be questioned. It's just weird. I just think it's not the kind of way English football is done here, that the players would have seen all this, and it's just not normal. We weren't running the normal way of football that we were running this season, and I think, for me, it just all ended up in absolute disaster, didn't it, really? But apparently Darren Moore was the outstanding candidate for the job. This attacking brand of football that we were promised, all this nonsense that came out. Honestly, the recruitment team, Matt Cartwright, Edwards as well, overseeing everything as well. They have no idea. They have no idea. And so don't remind me of Darren Moore. Well, apparently he plays attacking football. I'm sorry, but his style of football is absolutely boring. Yeah, it was dreadful, wasn't it? Absolutely woeful. And like I say, he just kept coming out and saying the same things every week. And yeah, it was just a shambles, wasn't it? Darren Moore never showed himself in a good way in the media. When I met him in person, I can say he's honestly one of the nicest people I've met. But he didn't have it tactically. Yeah, absolutely, I agree. I think I never actually met him, but yeah, I mean, he, like I say, he never showed himself good in the media, and yeah, I agree with you. To be honest with you, I know you could probably say every game, but which game was the worst under Darren Moore for me? Between the Leeds game and Cardiff game, my goodness, there was so many bad games. I can't say I enjoyed any, because they were pretty much all bad. Even when we won games, it were bad. That was part of people look. So I think, I don't know, it's hard for me. The Leeds game was embarrassing, the way we turned up there, and we absolutely, the way he put Tom Edwards up against Somerville, one of the fastest wingers in the league. I mean, that just was utterly pathetic, wasn't it? But yeah, to be fair, Darren Moore's tenure, his games that he had, all felt bad to me. Every game felt bad. It was just horrible. Blues, I would say the Preston game was worse, mainly because Preston beat us comfortably, even though they were also awful. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's one of those. I just can't remember any game that was. I suppose there were worse games than others, but they all just felt so bad. Like I say, it ended up in 3 wins in 23 games. I mean, honestly, the draws, 11 draws. I mean, the 1-1 draws that we had, when we could have actually gone for the game, or if we kind of lost the lead, but we still didn't go for it, or we might have been, like I say, we won it's just this sitting back negative style of football was horrendous, wasn't it? Like I say, it was finally sacked at the end of January after the QPR game. Like I say, we obviously drew that game, didn't we? Well, with an injury time equaliser from QPR, which obviously resulted in him losing his job. But yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous how he can, bring out Neil Warnock, take it, get rid of him, and bring in somebody like this, and then talk about how it's from a position of strength, he was the outstanding candidate for the job. Clubs, if he was that good of if you really wanted him that much, Darren Moore was available in the summer. So if we really wanted him that much, then he should have come in the summer. Then in that case, he wasn't the ideal candidate. He wasn't the answer. It was quite clear he wasn't the answer. And instead, they decided to get Neil Warnock back. And then what are you going to do after 7 games? You're going to get rid of him. Utterly shambolic from the get-go for me. The decisions making off the field, just unforgivable. And like I said, it's not just this season. I know it's been many years now of poor decision making, but I'm just talking about this season. I just think it's just been utterly rubbish, hasn't it? Now looking at the January transfer market, the business speed, to me, it was pretty obvious we needed a striker right in January. We needed one. We weren't scoring goals. We just weren't scoring the goals. Now, we did sign the 2 strikers. However, one of them in Radulovic, who clearly wasn't going to be able to handle championship football. Coming from Finland, where obviously when they played on 4G, the quality of the football over there is obviously way below the standards of the championship. And like I say, he was never. We were signing players that were, that we was hoping would be okay for us, rather than them being proven, and rather than them, so that the January transfer window for me, so that first one, Healy, to be fair, Healy was a good one in the end, but again, has been injured more often than not. Yes, he's scored a couple of goals, and I think, to be honest with you, there is a player in there, definitely, and I really like him. I think he is a guy that we can build the team around. Healy, I think he's a proper striker. If we can keep him fit, if we can have a full pre-season, hopefully he's fitter come August, and we'll have a really good player on our hands there. But I just think the fact that we signed him, but yet it didn't take him long to get injured, and then we didn't see him for ages, and there's just been no contribution. There's just not been enough consistency with these signings. Matos, another one. I mean, I loved Matos. I think he started off very well, didn't he, really, for me? I think he did well. And then he seemed to kind of tailor off towards the end, I think Brighton, right, when he came in, I think he dropped in a few times. He was actually starting regularly, but then all of a sudden Brighton Ryan wasn't starting him, and I don't know if that did anything to him. But then, he's not. He's been good for us. He's been okay for us, but I don't think he's been the player that we may have hoped. Obviously, a loan signing, so that wasn't obviously permanent. Radinho Balca came in, and he couldn't seem to stay fit either. His hamstrings seeming like spaghetti. And so, all in all, the transfer business done in January was another disaster, wasn't it? Really, if we're looking at it from a bigger picture, it was awful. The reality is we needed to strengthen, but we didn't, and so again, another failure. By Cartwright, the recruitment team. I'm sorry, but it's just ridiculous. And if you speak to Stoke fans about Mark Cartwright, and I'm just putting it out there, if you speak to Stoke fans about Mark Cartwright, they couldn't stand him. They couldn't stand him. The things that he said, he wasn't good at his job. He even said it. He wasn't good at his job. But Nagel thought it would be a good idea to bring him into our club, and for some reason, I just don't get it. It was never going to be the answer for us. Like I said, recruitment is a massive part. And also, if you look at it, we've just been relying on free transfer. Yeah, okay, we've spent money on these strikers, but these strikers that have come in have not improved us, and they haven't scored the goals that we've needed. So I don't know. Ultimately, over the past few years, we've just signed free transfers, players from lower leagues, and it simply hasn't worked, has it? And I think if you look at the structure of the football club as well, that we haven't got the right structure at this football club to be successful. I think that's the bottom line. We just haven't. We haven't got any structure to be able to be successful in, and that's just my view. Who's back? I know. I mean, that just sums it up, doesn't it? Who's Balca? Yeah. Who is there? Who is there? I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. But yeah, like I say, Darren Moore, was glad to see the back of him. I think, but again, no leadership, no responsibility. It was the fans was crying out for a change way before he went, but no, they knew best. The owner, the board, they knew best. but actually they didn't know best because ultimately, you know, look what's happened. So yeah, I'm sorry. That was just another bad decision. Off the field, like I said, the bad decisions that have been made constantly have ultimately cost us. And yeah. Josie, if Balka stays fit, will be very good. And yes, I agree with you. Build a team around. Yeah. Well, yeah, like I say, if Balka can stay fit, yeah, I'm not saying he hasn't looked good when we've seen him, but we haven't seen him enough to make a big judgment on him. But I think he hasn't looked like he's got something about him, but I can't judge him too early. I don't really know. But yeah, Healy, definitely our number 9 next season for sure. Now, obviously, Worthington stepped up from the academy. Look at the massive change that this brought to the club, though. You know, his press conference was refreshing. You know, the football that he brought to the table. His caretaker, obviously, anyway, you know, Worthington, one of our club legends here at the club, obviously played as a player for us. And yeah, he's one of us. He's a fan like us. And I think that if you watch the football, the difference from, you know, obviously from before, I think it's night and day, isn't it? You know, the way he got us playing that free-flowing attacking football. This was attacking football. You know, the shackles were off, you know, gave the players freedom to play. The players responded well to him. They were playing for him. You know, we had an identity, I feel, you know, a style of play. I knew what we was trying to do. You know, obviously, the first game, obviously, we beat Sheffield Wednesday 4-0, which what a start that was. Obviously, then, if you remember, we went to Southampton, where, to be fair, that was a right game. You know, just the fine margins. Obviously, but we scored 3 goals. We'd scored 7 goals in 2 games in his time. So that just pretty much summed it up. And again, we played well at Southampton. Now I was, you know, and we left it all out there. And I think that we did ourselves proud. But obviously, we did lose in the end, so that's all that counts. But just the approach was spot on for me. We obviously went to Sunderland and beat them 1-0 away from home. A good result, but obviously his final game ended in a 2-1 defeat to Hull. Obviously 1-2, lost 2, but I just think that the feel-good factor, seemingly was there, you know, and I think that it was a big change, wasn't it, in the mood. We were starting to enjoy the football. I think it was, well, as a fan base, we certainly liked the football. So yeah, it was a lot better, wasn't it? And I think credit to Worthington for the job that he did. And then obviously, you know, Brighton Wright came in February now. Look, was this I'm going to ask the question, was this really the right appointment in the first place, guys? Was it? Because, you know, someone who had never coached in this country before, you know, asking him to come in and, you know, at this point of the season and keep us up, like I say, when he doesn't know the league or anything, it's a massive gamble, that. It's a massive gamble. And ultimately, he backfired, didn't he? Backfired. I mean, like I said, 2 wins in 13 games, sugarcoat it all you want, but that is not a response of a manager bounce at all. It just didn't work. It just hasn't worked, you know? And, yeah. The response under Worthy doesn't surprise him. Worthy does have what it takes to be a manager. I find that when teams are caretaker for the players, it's about showing the manager. It's about showing the manager was the problem. Yeah, I mean, look, Worthy did, you know, we knew that he was, obviously, he's a fan like one of us, and he got us playing some good football. You know, players took to him very well. Obviously, you know, a lot of them knew him as well. Well, everyone knew him really. So, yeah, I think it was a great fit. And like I said, the managers, you know, anybody that says the managers weren't the problem, I'm sorry, but Darren Moore was the problem. So, yeah, that's it. You know, the players have to take some responsibility, but the manager as well. But yeah, so yeah, like I said, Brighton Wright came in. Maybe I was kind of, I was excited to a degree. I think I got carried away with his CV, with what he'd achieved. prior to coming in. Obviously, coming to England, not managed it before. It's a different ball game, as we know. Maybe I got a bit carried away because, like I said, he's come in and I don't really. I think I've been quite disappointed with what he's managed to give us. I think ultimately, but yeah. Anyway, guys, I've lost my track of thought now. But yeah, I think he's been underwhelming, but I don't think it's been good enough. I think if you look at the tactics, the in-game management, the style of play, I think, I've seen nothing from this coach to say that he is the guy to take us forward. And especially in League One. League One is an even tougher league. You need to have a manager, that knows the league inside out for me in League One and knows how to get out of it. Brighton Maiters' body language, it doesn't look like he wants to be here anyway. He doesn't look like his heart is with the club, because otherwise he wouldn't have threw a lot of people under the bus, as we know what he did in his press conference. But we're going to talk about that now. But I mean, one thing I will say though, when he was obviously asked about his future after the game on Saturday against Ipswich, and he said he needed time to reflect, to make a decision. Now, I'm not sure what he needs time to reflect for, because you either want to stay or you want to go. And the reality is we haven't got time to be waiting. He needs to make a decision, and it needs to come soon. It needs to come in the next day or so for me. You cannot be waiting and waiting, because, like I said, we've got a lot to do, and we haven't got time. We need to know what we do. We need to get another manager in. And even then, I don't trust the people in the club at the moment to make that right decision again. Because how can we? They've constantly made bad decisions. So how can I trust somebody like Cartwright and Edwards, who will oversee it? How can I trust those people to get a right manager in? We can't, can we? Because of what's happened so far. And like I said, I've said it before, I'll say it again. This guy, I don't think he's interested in being at the club. Like I said, his heart's not in it. Look what he's been saying in the media. Look at his body language as well. Where's the passion? I don't see somebody that wants to be here. I don't think he's been good for us one bit at all. Like I said, yeah, great CV. But people are just making excuses, saying these aren't his players, he's coming to a difficult situation. All this is, like I said, he's called out the players and the club's culture. So, something we already knew, really. We knew things weren't right. We knew the players that were down in tools. He's only telling us what we knew, really. We didn't know the extent of it, but we knew that some of these players were not interested. They didn't want to be here, because you could see it on the pitch. We watched them week in, week out, Like I said, let me ask anybody that is Brighton Wright, by the way, let me know why you want him to stay, other than that he's got a good CV, and he's not, and making excuses. He came in to do a job. He came in to keep us up. He was actually outside the relegation zone when he came in, and he needed to get us safe. He hasn't done that ultimately. Like I said, the tactics has been very poor. The team selections, the timing of substitutions, the in-game management, everything doesn't, and then what he's done is I don't feel like this is the best interest of the club doing this, but he's not done it because the fans need to know this, or he's not done this for a club's benefit. He's done this for his own thing. When he's called out, he's distancing himself from any kind of blame. When he walked through the door, he knew what he needed. When he walked through that door, what he would have needed to do, he would have known what he would need to do to turn it around. This is nothing to do with me, he said. He's distanced himself. Pre-season wasn't right. The players aren't fit enough. Every excuse, seemingly under the book, to distance himself from what's happened. They're not together, he said. But ultimately, surely him as the manager, walking in, has to find a way to do that, to get them together. So I just think it really is unprofessional. I've not been convinced by him anyway. Yes, I don't want to keep chopping and changing managers, by the way, guys. I don't. But ultimately, we've only had so many managers. That's 4 managers we've had in a season. 4. But that's because of the bad decisions from the top. And ultimately, it's not because I like changing managers. I don't think he's the right fit for this club. And especially now we've gone down, I don't think he wants to be managing in League One anyway, which is what I'm going to comment on now with his comments that he said also after the game in a moment. But anyway, let's have a look at your comments. We have missed a few. Blue said, no one can deny Andre has an impressive CV. It hasn't so far worked out as hoped. I can understand both sides over his public comments, but I think he either needs to commit to the job or resign. Yeah, he does. And that decision needs to be made sooner rather than later. Like I said, we've got so much to do. We need to be organised. So somewhere we have to get things done and quickly because we haven't got time to be waiting. Joe said, I think Andre should go. He's not the right one for the job, but we need to stop changing managers all the time and settle the players. Yeah. I agree. He doesn't settle the players. I absolutely understand that. I do, but I don't think we should just keep hold of a manager just because just for the sole reason we can't keep chopping and changing managers. Ultimately, if he doesn't want to be here, that's it. He has to go. But if you look at the other things as well, I haven't seen anything to suggest he should stay, personally. But yeah, we need if we do get rid of him, I want to see a manager that stays. I don't want to keep chopping and changing now. If he goes, I want to see somebody that comes in and he's allowed to have a substantial amount of time. Because we don't want to be a club. Well, we already are a club like a Watford that just chop and change manager every time. But we don't want to keep being that club. We need a bit of stability, I think. Yeah, my Sprint, he needs to go so we can start again, as he said. He doesn't want to be here. Yes, he's truthful to us, but we need someone so he has the whole sum to get his ideas across. Yeah, we need to be organised. Like I said, we need to be. I don't trust anybody in that club at the moment, though. I don't trust the people at the top. And ultimately, Cartwright has to go for me. Edwards has to go. I keep saying it, but it's just true. If we're having a refresh and we have to get rid of the people at the top that have made decisions that have been quite honestly embarrassing all season. So that's just me. But yeah, you're right. I agree with you. Like I say, you can say it's true, but I just think the timing of this is just poor. Now, he also said after the game as well, which also indicates he doesn't want to be here. He says, normally I'm not the coach for the third league, to be honest. I'm used to playing international with my teams. Now, for me, again, he's been in the position since February, achieved next to nothing, and then has the audacity to suggest that our club is not good enough for him. That's basically what he said. And I just think I just think it's really poor from him. Really unprofessional. Like I said, when he came in, I did expect to see more than I have, and I stick by that. I don't care if it's not his players. He's coming to do a job. He knew what he was coming into. Yes, okay, you could say that he's been promised this and that, and but by the idiots at the top, right? But ultimately, he came in to do a job, and he's not done that. So now he's deflected all the blame on everybody else but himself. And just because he has a certain way of going about things doesn't mean he should criticise other people. Now, I'm not sticking up for Neil Warnock, by the way. I'm just saying Neil Warnock teams are different to Andre Brighton's team. Every coach is different, but just because you know, just because somebody else does something different doesn't mean it's wrong. You know, Andre Brighton likes the double sessions. Has that really helped the team doing double sessions? No, it hasn't. It's burnt them out even more, if you ask me. The players aren't fit enough as it is, so why is double sessions at this stage of the season when he came in especially? Why is that beneficial? It's not. So I don't understand why, you know, so he's changed things too soon as well. But yeah, like I said, I want someone who is committed and ambitious to the core. I think, you know, ultimately his style of play, I don't know what he was trying to do. I don't know what was happening. I don't make this excuse. He's not none of his players. It's his job at that time of the season to get the best out of what he has, and he didn't. For me, like I said, we need an English coach, a British coach, whatever, who knows League One going forward and how to get out of it. And I think that's my opinion on it. It's going to be a long stream of this because we've got the keep and sell to go on as well, guys. We've got the keep and sell, but Bluetooth. Only problem is if he does resign, who comes in? I'm not sure who I would want. Anyone got any suggestions? Well, I'm not going to comment on names yet. Ultimately, I am going to probably do a little video about this, but when the decision is made. But I just want somebody. I don't have any names to mind, to be honest with you, at the moment, but I just want somebody that is experienced at this level, knows League One. I don't know who's available right now, but knows League One and how to get out of it, because that's what you need, really. So, yeah, not many suggestions. Liam Rosenior, Wayne says, yeah, I mean, Liam Rosenior, obviously, yeah, he got sacked, hasn't he, today by Hull, which obviously, yeah. But I don't know if, like you said, I don't know if Liam Rosenior would want to come to League One like Luton says. I don't think he would. But is it worth a try? I don't know. My top two manager choices, if we just go, will be Pearson. Some more experience in a hard league. Higginbottom got out of League One with Barnsley. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, George, nice choice, by the way. Now, I did say in the previous thing that I do want somebody like a Nigel Pearson kind of character. So, yeah, I did say that last year, I remember now. But, yeah, good shouts, to be fair, those two, Joseph, yeah. Now, so, yeah, the season, it's just been a complete shamble, hasn't it, from the beginning to the very end. And I just think the reset button, the rebuild has to start. But I think this is going to be a difficult. This is an easy thing to do. You know, all this. There's so much to do. I think resetting is very difficult when you've got so many players in contract. Like we have, we've not got many players that are out of contract. So look, I don't know, but we need to start fresh. But starting afresh means we need to have people in the recruitment team, you know, the board that are football people. We haven't got football people in this football. I'm sorry, but you know, Mark Cartwright, Jake, they're not football people. We need some more. You know, we need a recruitment team that can really get the best out of the budget that we were on, and you know, and are proven. And I know that's easier said than done, of course, but we just need somebody better than him, because I don't trust him to get things right. And like I said, I go back to it. If we keep these people in charge at the top, then you can forget about any kind of progress, as far as I'm concerned, because this season alone has proved that to me. It proved it. So Kevin, obviously, is going to be doing his video diary posted into very soon. He's waiting on something, he said, presumably the manager's decision. So yeah, and we'll see. But I think ultimately we're all glad to see the back of this season. And then, yeah, that's it really. So hopefully I've kind of summarised the season the best way I can. And yeah, that's my thoughts on it really. Just utter chaos. I think really though the fan base. I just think we've got such a fan base of our fan base. Some of the sections of this fan base is so they just accept what is going on. There's no kind of no. To me, I think that we've accepted mediocrity. I think managers, players, transfer. We're always making an excuse, and like I said earlier, because I'm very forthcoming, because I'm very, I don't hide how I feel. And I think as soon as you speak out about things on social media, it's all this, you're negative, stop complaining, go and spot somebody else then. But why should I? I want my team to succeed. But because you're happy to live in a bubble of fake positivity, which is what some of this fan base does, by the way, you're putting others down for speaking their mind about what is actually going on or the reality of it all. So I just think there is a lot of, and I've seen the overprotection of players this season, clapping the team off when really they don't deserve it, getting beat 4-0, but you clap the team off. The players, I mean, by the way, I can't believe the players did a walk round the pitch after the final home game. I thought that was absolutely embarrassing. That really. But you still had fans clapping. And if you look as well, Sorba Thomas 50 yards behind, trailing behind, but completely disinterested. And you just think, what are you doing? Why are you there? Why are you actually do? You might as well just gone down the tunnel. But yeah, I don't know. I just think the mentality. I just think the standards are so low. Ultimately, to succeed, you have to have. You have to have the right mentality, the winning mentality, the culture. The culture is wrong. The culture at this club is completely wrong, as we know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm probably waffling now, but I think we've just had years of this, and I just think fans that are saying, "Oh, we're excited for the away days." I mean, look, I just can't accept that. I'm afraid we could have rebuilt in the championship. We didn't need to rebuild, where we have been before, and yeah, that's it really. Also, the only person I can see who I'd want is Alex Neil, but not sure he'd come after last time he went to the club in a bad state. Yeah, I think a manager though that comes in will want to see a platform to be able to feel like they can work in, and I do worry that, coming into a club like us at the moment, which we're a sinking ship at the moment, let's be honest. I don't know. And again, if Brian Wright does go, I want somebody else to be making a decision about the manager, because even if Brian Wright does go in the coming days or whatever, which obviously needs to happen sooner rather than later, as I said, what we're going to do then? Who's going to come in? Because I don't have any confidence or belief in this current board to think, yeah, we're going to go out and get around. But like I said, who is going to want to come with not the platform to be able to succeed? Because like I said before, the structure of the club at the moment isn't there to succeed. The structure of the club isn't there to be able to be successful. I think that's the reality of it. We're broken. But anyway, we're going to get into the keep and sell release list, which obviously I did say I was going to do. Like I said, having a look at this, by the way, just looking at how many players are actually in contract at the club, there's only a few that are out of contract. I think it's increasingly worrying because we're not able to offload maybe the players that we want to do because they're in contract. But yeah, anyway, let's get into it. So we're going to go in order. So we're going to go for the out of contract players that are out of contract this summer. Starting with Jacob Chapman. I think he would be a reliable backup for League One. We'll come to that later about also the goalkeepers at the club. Obviously, you'll know what I mean by that. But I think he will be a good backup for League One. So I think I would keep Jacob Chapman. Brahima Diarra, yeah, I mean, look, he is a player that has not produced, he's may have some talent in there, but just no end product. So I think for me, Diarra, we have to release him. Now, apparently, I did have a look into this. Due to his age and academy product status, we will get a six-figure training compensation fee from whoever gets him. So, we will get some money for him. So hopefully, that's good news. But yeah, release for me. Jonathan Hogg, obviously, is out of contract. Like I said, this for me, I think we have to keep him, I'm afraid. I think that there's definitely value in the midfielder's experience, there's no doubt about it. And the leadership, we need that leadership around. Like I say, maybe he won't play every week, but I just think if he's happy with that, then we should keep him. But yeah, just to have somebody around it. We know what Hogg is about. Obviously, he is Huddersfield Town through and through, so I think we should keep him. And yeah, like I say, he's obviously at that age now where he is coming to the end of his career. He probably may have a season or two left in him, but that's about it. But yeah, I think he will be a good player for us in League One, so I would keep. Conor Mahoney is out of contract. Obviously, he's done well at Gillingham. He's got 7 goals, 4 assists, in League Two. But yeah, I don't think he's the answer for us. I think he's been a poor player. I don't really understand why we signed him in the first place, to be honest with you. So I would release Nakayama. I think he will be a class defender at League One, but I think I would keep him if I had my own way. But I don't think he will be willing to stay. So I think for me, probably would have to release him, I'm afraid. Aaron Rowe, like I say, had his moments for Crewe, hasn't he? And helped them to reach the League Two playoffs, but he's played from the bench nearly as more often than not. Obviously, he'll turn 24 in September, so I think it's probably time for him to look for more regular minutes elsewhere. So for me, release. John Rhodes is another one that is out of contract. Obviously, he has been at Blackpool this season, done well in League One, to be fair. I think his high wages, I don't think he will be able to sign. I think he has had a good start at He has had a good start. He had a good start to his time at Blackpool, but he kind of dropped off before he had a few injuries that limited his availability. But in the second half of the season, like I say, a tough decision this, to be fair, but I just think I kind of edged towards that release for him. So that's all the out of contracts done. So yeah. Players we need to go. Nicholas Thomas, I feel like we might get somebody for him. Hellick Key, but he's probably gone. Pearson has to go too, slow, in my opinion. I mean, to be fair, Pearson, the thing is, we're talking about getting rid of these players, but who's going to want Pearson in order? He's under contract, so who's going to want him? I just think maybe in League One as a centre-back, like I said, he played that position so many times this season, it's just unbelievable. As a centre-back, is he going to be a good option for us? Maybe a squad player. Ultimately, I don't think we can get rid of him. So we're kind of stuck with some of these players. Like I said, we're kind of stuck with some of these because most of these players, because who's going to want them? But yeah, I mean, I agree with those. I don't think he will. I think that ship has sailed. I think Rowe. We just need to release him. I don't think he's going to be good. Chapman keep if Nichols leaves, otherwise get rid. Diarra get rid. Hogg keep, but not as a starter. Mahoney get rid. Yuta get rid. Rowe get rid, and Rhodes get rid. Yeah. I mean, look, you've kind of agreed with me there about all my decisions too. Osterfield looked good for us against Middlesbrough, so I'll keep him. I'm going to have an opinion on that in a minute, but yeah. But yeah, big up to everyone that's tuned in, by the way. If you aren't on if you're watching on X, if you want to come over to the YouTube channel, Huddersfield Town Fan TV, subscribe, like, and yeah, get involved in the chat as well if you like. I don't think you can get involved in the chat next, so yeah. Hello there, Emmanuel. Sorry, can't speak. Hi mate, how are you doing? Thanks for dropping in. So we're going to get into the goalkeepers now. Lee Nicholls, I mean, look, he's been largely blameless for most of the season. I think had a poor start to the season. He had an injury as well, and I just think for me, he hasn't been the same since then, really, has he? I think if you look at trying to find some extra room in the transfer and wage budgets, I think maybe Nicholls will have to go because, like I said, I think it might be a case of getting rid of him. So with everyone's best wishes, of course, but yeah, maybe get rid of him, free up the funds there. Chris Maxwell, like I said, I think Chris Maxwell can be our number one next season in League One, in my opinion. I think he's shown that he's more than just a capable backup, and I think he would be brilliant for us in League One. So I would keep Maxwell for sure. Centre backs, Aina. He's not been far off the first team for a couple of years, but ultimately sat on loan. Obviously, he's been to Scotland, make sure he gets minutes. I think he might get some minutes in League One, even if that's just as a backup. So I think I'd keep him. Radinho Balca. Let's be honest, I don't think he would have joined as a League One club. But like I say, he's under a long contract, so are we going to be able to offload him? But I think he could be a real difference maker if we can keep him fit. So I think I'd be happy to keep him. Helik is another one. Like, we all want to keep Helik, don't we? I think, but ultimately, he's going to get some interest. We're going to get some money for him. I think he'll want to be playing higher up than League One for his international aspirations too. It'll be really sad to see him go, to be honest with you, Helik, because I do like him, but I think it might be the most practical thing to do in getting rid, not getting rid, by the way, that was wrong, selling and getting some money for him. I'm gutted, I am gutted, but look, it is one of those things when you get relegated, you have to let go of players maybe you don't want to let go of. Now, Tom Lees, I think he's a good character. He's a reliable player. And I think I've actually looked at it. He's never actually played in League One before. I think he's a good player if he's in League One. I would keep him. Matty Pearson, I think he would be a top defender in League One for me. I think he is a step down in League One. And you're not up against the pace. It's not an easy league, but you're not up against the pace maybe that you are in the Championship. Play him as a centre-back, I think he will be a good option for us. So I will keep him. And like I said, even if we did want to get rid of him, again, I don't think we could. Because I don't think he would have anybody. Full-backs, next up, Jaheim Headley. Because he hasn't pushed on much this season, as what we would have liked to have maybe seen. But could be a danger to opposition defenders at full-back next season. I'll probably keep him. Ben Jackson. Like I say, we were kind of, at the start of the season, we were kind of saying he was versatile, squad playing, would be a good player, but his performances in the second half of the season have been very poor. And ultimately, we might be best heading elsewhere to get regular starts, maybe. I think full-back area is looking strong if everyone is fit. So I think If we can sell him, then that'll be good. But again, we'll be able to offload him. I don't know, but hopefully, I would sell him. Josh Ruffles. Now, when we signed Josh Ruffles, he was actually doing very well at Oxford in League One. And like I said, he's been missing the championship. He was one of the most reliable players last year, but obviously, I think he's a definite keep for me. I think he's a good player. Brodie Spencer, I think, look, I would love to keep him at least for another year, hopefully. But if we get a really good offer for him, I don't know if we can refuse that, but I would like to keep him. I would think that he's only 19 still, so I think maybe we can keep him, and that would be a good option. Ollie Turton, that's an easy decision for me. I really like Ollie Turton. His ability to play like either at right back or centre back helps make up for the others we're expecting us to lose. So keep Ollie Turton, definitely. Midfielders, Josh Osterfield, I don't think he's shown is the answer to Town's midfield issues for me. So I think I would sell if we can. But again, I don't know. These are all subjective because the reality is it is going to be difficult to get rid of the players that maybe I want to get rid of. Scott High is another one. He's very poor. I would like to sell him if somebody wants him. I just don't think he's just not good enough for me. Tom Iapenda, I think Tom Iapenda definitely keep. I think Iapenda is one that I'm really looking forward to seeing most over pre-season. See more of him over pre-season, hopefully, and into the new season too. I think he's got a real star quality about him, and he could be our next breakthrough star for me. So keep, no doubt about it. Kasumu, like I said, Kasumu has his flaws, but he also has some good qualities too for me. That would go a long way in League One too, and has been one of our most consistent more consistent performers this season. I think maybe it will attract interest, but hopefully we can keep him. Now, Jack Redone, look, this list is long, I know, but Jack Redone, look, I really do like Jack Redone. I think he brings energy, he's always involved. People can say that his end product is poor, which it is. It's not a lie, it is. I would like to say that we keep him, but if he doesn't want to be here, which we did see a bit of that on Saturday when he was dragged off, when he obviously we all know what happened with that. He got dragged off, and because he wasn't obviously tracking, he just gave up when he lost the ball. We know what happened, but I think if an offer comes in for him, that is too good to turn down, then obviously we would have to go. But I would like to see him stay. But if he doesn't want to be here, which, like I said, I don't know, but if he doesn't want to be here, then he can go. But if he wants to stay, then I would definitely keep him. Ben Wiles, like I said, there's been no hiding that he's had a shocking season. He struggled all season. Now, if he can get a full pre-season in, will he be a different player in League One? I think he's shown that he can do better in League One. Look at his time when he was in League One before. He's quite impressive. So I probably would keep him. Again, I don't think he's in the shop window, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I think I would keep him. Wingers, moving on to wingers, and then we're nearly there, don't worry. Pat Jones, I think he's got a lot of talent, but like I said, fitness has been the issue, hasn't it, for him? But is this finally the year he shows what he can truly do? We can only hope. I think we should keep him. I think he might be able to be really good for us, for sure. So yeah, for me, keep. Josh Koroma, He's into his final year of his contract now. So I think the temptation might be there to move him on, but I think really he has raised his game off the ball over the past 18 months. He was brilliant in his first few games for Portsmouth, if you remember last season before dropping off. I think the trick is to get him to start the season just as well, but then keep it going. That's that. So for me, I think we should keep Koroma and review it in January maybe. Sorba Thomas, absolutely leave. You know, he clearly doesn't want to be here. We can get a good fee for him, I'm presuming. And yeah, doesn't want to be here. Body language is shocking. We can't have characters like that in the dressing room. Ultimately, as good as he can be, people can say about his contributions, but I don't want to have players that think they're too big for their own boots. Ultimately, I think that he is one of those. And yeah, he looks completely disinterested. So I think that he will be on his way over the summer. Strikers. Kean Harrett. Now this is an interesting one, isn't it? Because I think would League One be his level? Obviously, his gambling suspension ends before pre-season begins. I think I'm kind of going to sit on the fence for now, see how the summer goes with Kean Harrett, and see what happens there. Reece Healy, as you've said, I think this is the player that we've missed most through injury. Like I say, get him a good pre-season, and he will be fantastic for us in League One. There's no question about that. So I would keep, absolutely, our number 9. And yeah, build a team around him, like I said earlier. Kyle Hudlin, not really up to the level, is he? He struggled to get minutes for Burton, who only survived the drop to League One on the final day. So yeah, for me, let's see if we can get a low. He's not going to, his contract runs until 2026, I think, which is just ridiculous, really, how we've got him on such a long contract. But I would loan him. He can go out on loan. Kieran Phillips. Like I say, he's doing okay at Sacramento at the moment, but most recently, last season, should I say, he impressed on loan at Morecambe in League One last season, and that was a very poor Morecambe side, by the way. So, is he going to be able to? I think he might be a useful squad player. Again, I'm going to sit on the fence, see how the summer goes, then choose between him or Harrett. But we can't keep both. We need to choose one or the other. Bojan again. I mean, look, we haven't seen much of him, have we? Really, his finishing ability, it's not in doubt, is it? I think, looks like they can go a lot further in League One. But as I've said about a couple of the others, do they really want to be in the third tier? I don't know. I think if he doesn't want to be here, then potentially let him go. Danny Ward could be very useful at this level if he stays fit, but he hasn't stayed fit apart from the season, 21-22 season. He's had injury issues consistently since returning to the club. Like I say, Healy is always going to be our number 1 striker next season. So I think it's between him or Radulovic as backup and sell the other if we can. So, yeah, I mean, Radulovic does look a bit lightweight. Does he want to be at this level? I don't know. Danny Ward, I think Danny Ward is probably, but like I said, we're just going to have to see. Tyrese Simpson, I mean, look, he struggled for both starts and goals for Northampton in League One this season, so he's not going to be likely to offer anything for us, what we need. So sell if we can. I don't think anybody will want to buy him, but sell if we can. Loan if not. So yeah, get him in on loan. So my full squad list so far will be goalkeepers Chris Maxwell and Jacob Chapman, centre backs Aina, Balka, Lees, Pearson, fullbacks Headley, Ruffles, Brodie Spencer, Turton, midfielders Hogg, Iapenda, Kusumu, Redoni, Ben Wiles, wingers Pat Jones and Josh Koroma, very lightweight on wingers, so certainly need to get some wingers in. Reece Healy, definitely, and then either Bojan or Danny Ward, and either Keane Harrott or Kieran Phillips. So either of the two, really. I mean, like I say, so that's my squad that we've obviously then we need to make adjustments to it before new arrival. We need to make it more signed, obviously. So we'll keep Keane Harrott because I've got a feeling there'd be a good option coming off the bench. Yeah, potentially you could be right. But I don't know. It's one of those. We can't keep too many of these. But yeah, I mean that's kind of it. Now I know Blue Terrier said Nagel has just released notes, which is typical. He had to do that when I was live. Why did he have to do that when I was live, guys? But maybe I should have a look at those notes, or shall I have a look at the letter now? Let's have a look at the letter now, guys. This is a long letter. So yeah, by the way, I might as well do this before I go. So he's put an open letter to the supporters. Now maybe I should do this on the next stream. Or maybe I should do it now. I don't know. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching, by the way. Like I said, there is more content coming over the summer, don't you worry. We'll keep up to date with the town stuff as well. And any news about the manager, well, we'll get news about the manager, won't we? And things. So when we do, I will obviously provide content for that. There's plenty of content. Like I said, there's still content that we can do. Players coming in, players departing, everything. We'll keep up to date with all that as well. Now, I want to read this letter out, guys, before I go. But I want to read it and kind of digest it as well, if you get me. So I don't know if I should kind of. No, let's read it out now, guys, because we might as well. Without me stating the obvious, this season has been far from easy. There hasn't been enough to enjoy, and now must embrace the challenge that relegation has presented us. As you all know, last season I committed to taking over the club regardless of our divisional status, because what we envisaged for Huddersfield Town then was a multi-year, long-term project to overhaul everything we do, both on and off the field, to create a team and institution to all be proud of. In no uncertain terms, relegation to Sky Bet League One this season does not change that goal and ambition. Since long before taking official operational control, we're more than aware that fortunes would not change overnight from where we inherited the club. And this season has taught us the hard way of the true scope of change that is needed, and we are fully committed to making that happen. I'm not in the business of making excuses, and I take full responsibility for the difficult season that we've endured together. But having had many questions asked of me throughout the season, the majority of which I have encouraged and invited, I believe our supporters are entitled to a more complete view of the tasks that we have had to face since taking over. Well, this is a long letter, guys, isn't it? But look, what else? Mentioned the culture was not conducted to a winning environment, both on and off the field. This is something we've already begun to repair. Of course, attempts and investments were made in January to help at first team level, We're in a difficult market and notoriously uncertain transfer window. We couldn't ultimately do enough to change our fate. Having found ourselves at the tail end of this league for 2 consecutive seasons, it is more than clear that change is needed. For you supporters, 10 of the last 12 seasons have been spent fighting relegation, and that's a cycle we need to stop. Just as you do, we only want individuals at our club, on and off the pitch, who want to work and give their all for Huddersfield Town. That feeling will underline our approach to our summer trading. Being a part of the Huddersfield Town family is a privilege, and that won't be allowed to be forgotten. Long-standing plans already in place will give our first team the best possible chance to succeed next season. Putting together a pre-season itinerary that will incorporate top-class training facilities in Austria and ambitious friendly fixtures that will give the side a platform from which to leap into the new campaign. With the proper preparation, the fitness, intent and togetherness of our team should no longer be areas in which we are questioned. Work on the infrastructure has begun. 2, you are aware of our ambition to take full control of our home at the John Smith Stadium for the first time since it was opened, and that has not changed. We are investing in our youth and our future, increasing the facilities at our training ground to give our academy the platform which can flourish and produce talent over time that is ready for our first team. We've also put in place a leadership group to oversee the day-to-day operations of the club with the desired ability and shared expertise to grow Huddersfield Town in areas that have previously been left unexplored, with further strategic appointments to be made and announced in the near future to further those ambitions. Nearly there now. Your frustration, anger, disbelief, apathy and hurt is not only shared but understood. While we cannot take back the season that is now behind us and undo overnight the problems of old that have been allowed to fester for far too long, we can seek to learn from the past and do better going forward. And it is my feeling that we already are. This can't happen again, and we won't allow it to. You have my word. Tomorrow we will launch our season cards and begin to look to the future. We hope to see you all there alongside us once again. Up the town. I mean, wow, that was a lot to take in, wasn't it? A lot mentioned. Obviously, an open letter to the fans from Nagel. Yeah, I mean, obviously, a lot to kind of take in there. Let's just talk. We can back. Like I said, the season card prices will be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what the season card prices are this season coming up. Because, like I said, I reiterate what the HJSA said about this statement that they put out. You know, we need to keep the prices at the same, because higher prices, we've got no evidence that higher prices will increase revenue. So for me, yeah, it says we're going to Austria in the summer, which I think is interesting. There's been no thingy about the manager, which I would have liked to have known more about, but I don't know why. That'll kind of spark something, won't it, about the manager, but yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot to take in with that, but yeah. Ultimately, we need to see actions now. I like the transparency, but yeah, I want to see the actions now take place, and the recruitment team, there has to be change at the top, like I said. But yeah, anyway, I think that's. I don't know. I really don't know. I think usually they do, yeah, but. I just think it's strange how there's been no announcement on the manager yet. I just think what is happening with that. I'm sure we will get to know, but yeah, it is a strange one, that, to be honest with you. I don't think somebody should be deciding where we are going without knowing what's happening. But look, we're going to have to see. But yeah, anyway, I am going to go now because obviously it's been a bit of a long stream. But I appreciate everybody that's dropped in, contributed. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I'll be back at some point. Don't know when. I mean, maybe we'll do some shows, some extra videos as well. More videos and more live streams, but we're going to have to wait and see because I'm not sure. Obviously, if there's news of the manager situation and anything really, we'll obviously do a show for it. But yeah, like I said, thanks all for watching on YouTube and X if you've tuned in via that as well. Like I say, if you haven't already, come over to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel, like and share. Really appreciate everybody's support. Great live stream, mate. Playoff watch longs. So yeah, possibly. I mean, I could do some of the watch longs back. Do like doing those, but I don't know yet. We will. I will get a watch long in there. But yeah, have a good week. I might be back sooner than you think, but I'll keep you all posted on my socials, like I say, HGFTV8, and of course, if you subscribed, put the notification bell on, and you'll get a notification when I go live. Anyway, I'm waffling. Have a good evening. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'll be back soon for another stream, some content on the channel. But thank you all for your support. Just caught the end, Ryan. Darren, so I'll go to the stand and watch. Yeah, cheers, Darren. Thanks for your support. I appreciate that. But yeah, guys, it's been a pleasure. We can put this season behind us now, this past season behind us now. I'm glad that we've stopped speaking about that now. And we can maybe look to see what we can do now going forward to really make sure we're ready for the new season. But yeah, watch this space. But anyway, thanks all for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Pop the time.